Chris, and thank you very much for coming to Loch Ness Living, which is our YouTube channel where we're just talking to different people and going to different places that are inspirational to me around the Highlands and Islands, and hopefully inspirational to other people as well. And so you're from Inverness Gigs, so if you could tell us a little bit about what is Inverness Gigs to get started.
That's my favourite subject, I'm quite good with that one. Inverness Gigs is started up as just a way of passing on information about music that was happening in the Inverness area 6 or 7 years ago. Unless you really knew how to find out about gigs, tended to be that the first time you'd find out about really big name gigs would be sold out stickers on posters outside Eden Court and stuff like that. And of course, there's a lot more venues now and things happening around. And quite quickly, what we did was we moved from sort of just big events and stuff like that to include sort of local music and really 7 or 8 years ago, it was sort of a discovery for me about what was actually on the scene and who was on the scene and all that kind of stuff. Because for me, music was just the big names and just all the people who were in the charts and things like that. And actually cutting through that was really important for me. So over
so it's
time,
kind of opened your own eyes as well to what's going on around Inverness as you started this kind of discovery of
yeah,
music.
absolutely. And the idea now is just to get more people. Well, I guess if we had a tagline, which we don't, but it'd be more people to get more gigs. Getting people to relate to and interact with music a wee bit more, and trying to get add to the liveliness of the scene. There's a liveliness, but just add to that.
Yeah. And this isn't paid people. This is people giving their time because they're passionate about music.
My wife calls it an expensive hobby, and it isn't. It's a very expensive hobby. It's we rely on contributors, and we rely on an awful lot of goodwill from people. So whether that's about people writing for us, taking photographs, whether that's about helping run the website, or just helping guide with the website and stuff like that, access to gigs, design, all those kind of things are all sort of done from just a general goodwill.
And is it any particular genre, or are you covering just as much music and as much kind of events of anything that's happening in the Highlands as possible?
We're led. It's a mix. It really is a mix. What we tend to do is that if we have people that are interested, or if we have people that are interested, we tend to follow those genres a wee bit easier than others. We'd really like to have more.
So if somebody turned up on your doorstep, sent you a message saying, "I am passionate about country music, can I do some stuff for you?"
That would be absolutely brilliant. I mean, we've got reviewers just now that do classical music, acoustic music, got some interest in jazz. The mainstream genres always tend to have an awful lot of an awful lot of interest, and we've always struggled with dance music because there's a massive contradiction between the number of people that are interested in the community of that, but also the ability for people then to write about it and review it and stuff like that. So we'd love to do more on that. We support some events, but it's a wee bit of a challenge.
Yeah. And I suppose in terms of an experience and a performance, a way that dance music gigs go and are performed and the way that music is given to people, it's not the same as a band. It's a very different thing. And it's not the same as an opera, and it's not the same as jazz. It's not like musical instruments and people singing songs. It's really different.
Yeah, but there's still the live interaction there. There's still the live interaction.
I sound like someone who's like never been to a dance music gig ever. Tell me what the young people enjoy about dance music.
Things like I've always had a lot of respect for people like Ali Richards and Mark McKenzie, and they run dance events through. Well, part of one of the things they do is outdoors. So they run a dance event at Doors Inn 2 or 3 times a year. And with that, there's a real passion, a real enthusiasm for proper dance music, not pressing a button and floating around sort of stuff, but really about interacting with the crowd. And when you relate that to whether you're holding a fiddle, whether you're holding a microphone, or whether you're banging the drums, or whatever you're doing, there's that interaction, and I think I do value that, although I don't fully get it.
Yeah. And do you think that the inception of Inverness gigs and the work that you do now, do you think that this has had a contribution to the music scene in the Highlands? Do you think that there are more gigs, or there's more interest in kind of gigs because of what you're doing?
I think it. Do I think more people?
Because from what I would say, I give you kind of my point of view from someone who's not a contributor, but what I like about the Inverness gigs page, particularly on Facebook, is the fact that it stimulates conversations between people. You go to something, or you're looking forward to something, and you can see on the calendar something's coming up, and you say, oh, other people are going, you're going to the same thing I'm going to, I'm really excited about this. You can share that excitement coming up, and then afterwards, it kind of, we were at the same place. I'm in that photo that somebody's put up there. Who's that crazy person in the photo as well, and it keeps the memory going. It's really nice like that.
I think we do get people to gigs. I think we do, even if it's just 1 or 2 people. But bearing in mind, some of these gigs are only going to be performed in front of 10, 15, 20, 30 people. So if I account for if people are saying Inverness gigs helps you go to a gig like that, then we've kind of done our job. But you're right, that interactivity and that sense of community, the venues can't really do that, or the promoters can't really do that. And it has to be something that's a wee bit separate to be able to help create that. Saying that, some of the organisations do it really, really well, but it's nice to be a wee bit more objective, a wee bit more sort of step away sort of stuff, and nice to be able to connect acoustic music with dance music, and dance music with rock, and rock with whatever else. So being able to sort of mingle the types together, it's also really good as well.
And I think a lot of people would be surprised that there is such a diversity of music going on in the Highlands, that we're not all just kind of traditional music and fiddle playing and accordions. There's a lot more going on. Not that isn't really good and really nice, and I enjoy a lot of that stuff, but there's an awful lot more out there.
And it's also the mix, and what's really great is that from traditional music and the support of traditional music, you're getting people going into other music genres as well. So you've got that sort of culture there as well. It's really, really nice to sort of catch, and we've got some really, really good young Scottish traditional bands as well. So and their grounding through the school system and the teaching of music that happens up here is incredible. The talent of music that comes through, and then they blossom at 15, 16, 17 and go off and start doing their own thing, which is just wonderful to watch. Absolutely, without a doubt. And as I say, it's not just the traditional genres that benefit from that. It's all across the board.
I think one thing that you said there as well is also really kind of key to the way that people experience music in the Highlands, is that maybe you'll only get 10, 15 people at a gig. That is not necessarily a bad thing. That can be a really beautiful thing in the connection of a small venue and a performer between the audience. It's a really kind of close and intimate setting. And
that is lovely, and it's really, really important. I think it's really important in the stuff that in the stuff that Inverness Gigs does, because there's an awful lot, by definition there's a lot of cynicism with sort of advertising and sort of general press and things like that, because at the end of the day they want to sell papers. At the end of the day, I want people to go to gigs, and I don't really care if it's 20 people to a gig or 2,000 people or 4,000 people to a gig. I don't really care about that. I'm writing because I want people to go to that specific, or we're writing because we want people to go to specific gigs. And sort of get out and engage a bit more, which is which is really important, isn't it? Because you want more music, not less music.
Yeah, and if you think about some of the performers who then go on to make it really big and become part of culture and go huge, people often remember the first time they saw them in a small venue, before it happened, and that's the gig that they remember.
Yeah, and it's also interesting just now because you've got some new bands coming up and playing some really small audiences, and sometimes they won't come back because of their experiences, because in comparison to Glasgow or in comparison to Edinburgh, and it's great to be able to sort of say, well, we've done our best, and we've given them the best they could. I'll give you an example. The great couple of acts, actually about 3. Mike Dow, based in Edinburgh, and Acrylic, who are Edinburgh, Glasgow, came up the other day, and there wasn't that many people at the gig. There was a lot of promotion for it, but there wasn't that many people at the gig, and it was quite sad to see. But from our perspective, we promoted, we previewed it, so we got people talking about it, and we reviewed it as well, and it was a cracking review, and everybody was sort of impressed with it. So kind of do what you can, but not necessarily. It's not always enough.
And have the number of venues kind of grown over the years that you've been doing it? Are there more places?
No, I think they come and go.
Right.
I think they come and go now. I think at the moment the smaller venues are fairly consistent. There's there'd be 3 sort of main pub venues for new music, with the Ironworks as well. So that hasn't really changed in the last 2 or 3 years.
Right.
Although the way that they do gigs and put on gigs has changed a bit.
So in terms of stage managers, producers, and they're booking and they're doing their kind of Scottish tour, is Inverness on the map and on their kind of view when they're managing acts, do you think?
It depends. Depends. Some that have had really good experiences will come up again and again. Can't help but sort of think of the likes of Newt Faulkner and Lucy Spraggan and people like that, who are fairly high level acts, get a good crowd, get a good audience, and are playing like the Ironworks and the Forest and places like that on a fairly regular basis. So. So there is a bit, but
so
not always.
That repeat experience, they must be enjoying that experience as well. It must be. Well, we hope that there's something special about coming to the Highlands for everybody.
Yeah.
I think particularly for performers, we are trying to make it a special experience. It's something that just happens on that night, in that moment. That
and make it special because. People are recording, people are taking photographs, and actually it's not. It's about what happened there and then, and it's a wee bit difficult for somebody like me who wants to sort of get you looking at photographs or get you looking at a perspective of a gig. But at the end of the time, you're absolutely right. It is about being in the moment. I wish people would put down their mobile phones.
Yeah.
I wish people wouldn't be so anxious to record that moment and know that there'll be photographs, there'll be some commentary, and there is that sort of experience. It's not gone.
Yeah. And that's not a new thing either. I think that now that the technology is so easy to use, we treat it as if it's brand new, but actually our ability to record and to make a memory has been there since we first started to draw pictures on cave walls and to form words and write journals, people have always wanted to try this elusive thing of trying to capture a memory and keep it for a later date. We've just now got a really portable, easy way of doing it.
So more people do it.
Yeah, it's just very, very accessible. Yeah.
And that's the problem that you have. And as I say, that idea of intimacy, or that idea of specialness sort of goals if you're trying to.
Is it changing the nature of performances to have so many people recording their own little version?
Yeah, I think without a doubt. I think it causes frustration. It causes animosity between the audience, who expect different things from different, and also the acts as well, about sort of level of interactivity and all that kind of stuff, which is it creates a challenge. And I don't think the balance has been had yet about what's acceptable and what's not acceptable.
Yeah, like the kind of agreed etiquette, because the technology is so new, hasn't really quite been kind of established yet, and it will come through everybody's experience. And kind of just getting there.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's and it depends on the size of the venue. It depends on lots of things as well.
And one of the other things that kind of I thought would be really interesting for this is, for our chat, is the amount of people who are driving around the Highlands as part of their visit to the Highlands.
Yeah.
So I mean, the road from Inverness to Drumnadrochit and over to Skye is really popular, and it has been popular for a really long time. But newly we've got the North Coast 500. And so what I thought would be really kind of nice and interesting would be kind of to think of a soundtrack for the North Coast 500 and kind of what kind of music, as people who live here, as people who go out to gigs here, what would we tell people to listen to kind of on the road as they're going out and about, that would really help to put them in this place and what's going on here? So what we
It's a difficult one.
It's huge, but it's an opportunity, I think, to throw some light on some of our local bands, our local talent.
Yeah, it is really difficult to think of particular ones that capture the sort of geographical sort of element. I think I would start. I was finding it really difficult to think about particular tunes and stuff when I was coming here, but I would start with E. McLaughlin, the Outsiders album. Their only album, so it's nice and easy to find, and it's a really good driving soundtrack, but equally catches emotion and intensity that you kind of get from driving around here. That is a beautiful sort of I wouldn't say contrast, it very much consolidated sort of experience of driving around here.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the pretty thing there on kind of what my kind of thought behind it was, that this landscape that we live in is inspirational, and it's inspirational for people who are writing and making music. You know, they are translating this into their art form, and as we're driving through that as a visitor, you know, how can we tap into through their work the experience? It's almost trying to give it, you know, more 3D, more layers.
another band, and actually Neil Watts with Thursday-based band, just released an album. They're very, very much based, and their whole ethos is about the locality and the area that they come from, very much talking about where they live and the history and geography and the presentation of the area. It's also quite nice mainstream music as well, quite impressive as well. But it'd be another sort of album that I would sort of definitely think, or series of tracks would definitely fit into sort of driving in the area. And another album that very much is still a classic album and not just part of a, you know, that sort of single track playlist. So Neil Watts would be very much one to catch on as well. And then it would depend on your mood. and depend on what you're trying to exactly capture. There's lots of, it's frustrating, but there's lots of different songs that sort of make up the area, or could make up the area, but Silver Coast do a lot of sort of really nice soundscapes as well, and sort of that idea, and then we've got a couple of really good videos which sort of look at the area and really capture it as well. Yeah, so yeah.
And I think it's important to make that connection with the music that's being made now, because it's not all about historical stuff, those classic tracks that people remember, and we're talking about what's being made now, what's inspiring people now, because this landscape has changed. It's different now than it was hundreds of years ago, but it's different now even than it was 70 years ago. There's people making music now and talking about their lives as young people in the area, their energies, their kind of creativity, where do they want to go?
But interestingly, some of the themes are still the same. The themes are the same, but maybe the themes are the same, but the context is changed. So and that's an interesting perspective. I always remember bumping into a couple of young lads who had discovered Oasis for the first time, and they were evangelical about it. Sorry?
It makes me feel about 100 when you say that.
and me too. And they discovered Oasis for the first time. Their music was very much sort of laid in that sort of Manchester sort of style and indie approach, and it was just sort of, that's not new to me. It's new to you, but it's not. And even styles tend to regenerate a little bit, and particularly up here, I think that styles tend to regenerate quite a lot up here. Still thinking of other songs.
I knew as soon as we were setting this up and I was sending the message, I knew that it would sit there, and you can do that whenever you speak to people who are into their music, that they have these lists, and they constantly alter them, and I expect I'll get a message from you within the next kind of 3 weeks. I've thought of another song to put on, so I thought would be really good is we'll do a list to accompany this. We'll write this out and we'll put some links out for people so they can find Inverness gigs and come and have a look at your stuff. And see what's coming up, and then they can follow up on some of the albums,
on the bands and stuff like that.
And then as you gradually add to that over the next 20 years, there'll be a list that'll get you all around the North Coast 500.
It's quite an idea to have a soundtrack for that. It's one worth thinking about. It's a good idea.
And what are the gigs coming up that you're really looking forward to? What's next?
I've got a pile of gigs coming up. I'm going to go and see an Elgin-based band, Edgar Road, play in front of a home audience in a sellout gig in Elgin in a week's time. And then it's me and Fran and Kirsten, have got, my wife and my daughter. I've got Lucy Spraggin, and it's Scouting for Girls. And I'm not sure what else is coming up on the scene just now, but that'll do just now. That's busy enough.
That's plenty to keep busy. And we're getting into a quieter time of year as well.
It's for gigs, what happens is that now it's Highland, people will tour. So you've had festivals. After the festivals you get the announcements, and then November, December time, and then March, April time you get your tours, and then you get back into festivals again. So it gets a wee bit busier. We've got Texas playing tomorrow night, and there's various other bits and pieces coming up fairly soon. So it's we had the Libertines last week, so it's
And just for anyone who hasn't, again, people who are visiting the Highlands who aren't quite sure what kind of music festivals we've got on up here, give us a rundown.
The big one would be Belgium. That would be the granddaddy of the lot. I think we're on to our 14th or 15th year.
So that's kind of a family-friendly...
Mini Glastonbury.
Yeah, really nice atmosphere.
Very much in the Glastonbury mould. with regards to sort of investment in the arts and culture, and
something for everyone really, isn't it?
And then you've got Northern Roots Festival, which is more Scottish traditional and Indian new music, more of an adult themed festival, Oktoberfest, which is very much, I think, more locally based, and the same with Wildwoods as well, which is going to be happening the second year, which is got great feedback, nice wee venue just off the tour roundabout, and a nice wee set up there as well. And I'm sure I've missed some festivals, outdoors, dance events, and Groove as well, and I'm sure I've missed a few.
That's okay, we'll put a list of those up as well for people who are looking, just because I think that could add another kind of element to somebody's visit to the Highlands, which would be really nice that maybe they weren't thinking of already.
Yeah.
Lovely. Cool. I think that winds us up. Thank you very much for joining us. I've almost finished.
And I've done my tea as well. Thank you very much.